Time once again for the Kaufman Corner podcast. David Lesky, Soren Petro with you after an ass kicking at the hands of the San Diego Padres, and after a World Cup. Yeah, we waited a little bit. We're going early, but we waited until the World Cup final was over. We're going to talk about your Kansas City Royals. What does winning a series against the Padres mean right now? Noah Cameron continuing to struggle. Bobby Witt held out with a back injury. How to approach the trade deadline. Stephen Kolek hits the IL. We'll get into that. Royals pitching. What's it going to look like next year? Is Isaac Collins good enough to win with, I should say, out there in left field? The farm system's got some bright spots. We'll get onto that. And when can you judge Brian Bridges? We're going to try to talk about it all right here, right now on the Kaufman Corner podcast.
You're listening to the Kaufman Corner podcast, the most in-depth analysis of the Kansas City Royals, breaking down the Royals like no one else can. Kaufman Corner is hosted by David Lesky and Soren Petro. David Lesky is an accomplished author and the publisher of the Inside the Crown Royals baseball newsletter. Soren is the award-winning afternoon drive host of the program on Sports Radio 810 WHB in Kansas City. Kaufman Corner is proudly brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, Kansas City's nationally recognized full-service paving and pavement maintenance contractor, making parking lot problems disappear in Kansas City since 1994. Free consultations, no commissions, in-house crews, and every project comes with a written warranty. Find them online at GannAsphalt.com or call 816-484-3338. Gann Asphalt and Concrete, one contractor, all things parking lot. Now, here are your hosts, David Lesky and Soren Petro.
Thank you very much, Curtis. We do appreciate it. Off and running here on the Kaufman Corner podcast. David, the Royals do get a win in the series. They take 2 out of 3 from the Padres. Ugly today. We'll get into that in a minute. But is there anything to be had here with the Royals winning a series at this point in the season?
Yeah, I mean, wins are good. It's not the, it's funny that I feel like you get to a losing season and a lot of people get this mindset of, oh, how dare they win a game? They're ruining everything. No, it's okay to win.
Yeah.
It's all right. Wins are fine. It's not going to change their mind on the deadline or anything. It's not going to ruin a draft pick because there's the lottery now. So, yeah, wins are good to have. I think it's a little bit, I think back to like 2023, I think it was really important to win in that second half because you had a lot of players who hadn't won before. Bobby Witt had not won. Vinny Pasquantino had not. Well, he wasn't playing in 23 because he got hurt. But like Michael Massey came up and was playing a role. He hadn't won. These guys hadn't won yet. Salvi was kind of the only one who had. I think it's a little bit less important now because these guys have won. Most of these guys have made the playoffs. Even guys they brought in, like we'll get to Isaac Collins and Lane Thomas was some various conversation along the way today. But those guys have won elsewhere. And Jack Caglione hasn't really won. Carter Jensen hasn't really won, although Caglione did win in college. But I think it's a little bit less important, but wins are good.
Do you buy anything about like winning here in the second half? Will somehow, even though we're not talking about trying to get back into the race, that's long, I think, gone. I think their playoff chances are less than 0.5%. That was even
still
after.
Too high.
Yeah. But do you believe in building momentum for next year? Do you think that's a thing?
I think it's a thing confidence is real. And I think that we tend to, we look at the numbers and we tend to poo-poo it. And I don't think I think it probably means a lot less than a lot of people will tell you and a lot more than other people will tell you.
Okay.
And so I do think that there is something to that. I think there's something, look, if Jack Caglione hit the 114 mile per hour home run today, if he can, we've talked about this so many times with the home run derby and stuff, but if he can really if he can get to 30 home runs, I think that's huge for him. If Carter Jensen can, he's at 22 doubles now, 35 doubles and 25 home runs, and all these things that are individual accomplishments do lead to winning. And I think there is there's a level of, I've built this confidence and I can take that with me into the next season. Again, probably not as much as some and probably more than others, but I do think that there is something to take from that.
Yeah, listen. I think you always want to try to win. I've always said I'm a big believer in tanking when it's warranted. I don't think that's where the Royals are right now, but I'm absolutely for it. I think it's as long as you're going to reward failure, then that's what you have to do. You have to get the higher draft picks. You have to go get the resources. But that's not done on the field. Everybody in the dugout, everybody in the clubhouse, they have to go try to win. That's done at the JJ Piccolo level. And so when they take the field, you want to win. I mean, you want that mindset to be there. I think at this point, especially the way they lost today, 19-2. Yeah, that does take a lot of any kind of forward momentum you had. I think away, and I saw there was a headline, Royals come out in the second half on fire. Well, let's slow down. They came from behind on Friday to win 7-6. They got a good
baseball. Well, they came from in front on Friday to win, actually.
Yes, exactly. And got a good baseball win yesterday. But then, reality is that if you add up the runs in the series, the Padres were the better team. If you wanted to tell me, well, take out the Tyler Tolbert runs, okay, fine. I think the Padres still win by 1 or 2 runs overall over the course of the 3 games, which is a better indicator of where your 2 teams are. It was close
enough. Are we
enough.
At a point, though, that Lucas Erceg is a position player pitching, though?
I mean, we are. I mean, let's throw it out there. Let's throw him out there. Let's throw Noah Cameron out there. I mean, you talk about what we're looking at, here in the second half. I mean, Lucas Erceg has to find himself. I mean, he's a candidate to be released the way he's pitching now.
Well, he's got options, so he's a candidate to at least be sent down.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Noah Cameron, you can't send him down. I mean, you can, but who's coming up to pitch for
exactly?
So that's an issue. There are guys you can throw in the bullpen, especially. I mean, they brought in Lucas Erceg, and it was when he came in, it was 9-2. He did pitch the 10th inning, and I think they gave him a leverage shot on Friday night. But when he came in today, it was 9-2. That's Lucas Erceg's role right now, and they were letting him pitch back in, trying to get him back there, and they should, because the stuff is still there. I mean, you look at it, the fastball is still there, the movement's still there. He can't locate his changeup to save his life. He struggles to get swing and miss out of the zone, which is they're all big problems. But the pure stuff, it's not like he's throwing 93, And so I have no problem with them trying to get him right. And okay, we're going to give him a shot. Oh, it didn't work. We're going to put him back in low leverage, all this stuff. At some point, you got to send him down. You got to say, we'll bring somebody else up. And is that pitcher going to be worse? Maybe, but it would be tough. I mean, Lucas Erceg he technically gave up 1 run today, because he gave up the batter who hit, it was Ty France, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Grand slam was the run he allowed, and the rest were on Beckway, which were all actually unearned because of Tyler Tolbert's error. So it's just this long line of grievances. But then he hit a guy, or walked a guy, hit a guy, walked a guy before he got a ground out. He does not look in control in any way, shape, or form.
I know the Royals have made it look hard to get relief help, but usually it's not that hard to build a bullpen.
No.
One of the ways you don't do it is by trading away the better reliever in a 1-for-1 reliever trade. The Matt Strahm trade looks terrible right now. Strahm gives up another run today. Jonathan Bowman is pitching well for the Phillies. And so you wonder, right now that's a disaster trade. I mean, there's just no way around it. But Matt Strahm wasn't an answer for years to come, right? Noah Cameron is supposed to be one of the answers for years to come. That's scary. Like, how concerned are you that he continues to have these problems? He did give them some depth. I will give him credit for sucking it up and getting through 5. That was big for trying to help out that bullpen a little bit. But I mean, he was rough early, then found the arm slot, was better, and now rough again. Like, how concerned are you about Noah Cameron?
Well, I'm really concerned. These are the last 7 starts for him. 35 innings. I'm debating which bad stat I want to give you first. This is the shocking one. I think the hits are more shocking than the runs. 52 hits in 35 innings. 32 runs, which is also shocking. But also, 17 walks, 2 hit batters. That is 71.
How many Ks?
Base runners. 29. So not enough. 16.7% strikeout rate, 9.8% walk rate. But 71 base runners in 35 innings in his last 7 starts. Now, again, you're right. Credit. He's giving innings. I mean, as many as you can when you're pitching that poorly, because 5 innings per start when you're pitching like that is you're saving a bullpen, which The other thing, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place right now, but the other thing that I'm wondering is part of the problem with the bullpen that the starters aren't going deep like they were. Are they overworked? And I think that's fair. I think that's a good question.
For sure it is. For sure. It's absolutely part of it. I think it goes with it. And, to your point about, Noah Cameron's one of the guys. Obviously, the pitching staff is down. But listen, as we start to look at this, and I read some things today about, a season, I don't know if it was on trade rumors or where it was, but a season that was supposed to be optimistic. They were the second favorite to win the division. They had a 45% chance to make the playoffs coming into the year. And I look back at it and I'm like, yeah, people input the wrong numbers because Chris Bubich and Cole Reagans were ticking time bombs and have been ticking time bombs really their entire career. Neither one of them stays healthy. And that was such a big part of what this team was supposed to be. I think that, they've got to get away from, first of all, they've got to be able to develop Seth Lugos and Michael Wacha's to where they don't have to pay them premium free agent dollars to give that kind of production. And that's what Noah Cameron was looking like. He was one of those kind of pitchers, not an ace, not going to win you a game 1-0 in the World Series, but could win you a game 5-3 in the World Series, maybe. And keep you in ball games and give you length, get deeper, protect your bullpen. Now you've got Seth Lugo disappointing. You've got the two hurt guys hurt. Now the other guys you got, Bergert and Kolek, are now hurt, as Kolek has hit the IL as well. We'll get to in a minute, but yeah, they need Cameron, his length. This year, do they? No. These games are irrelevant now.
Right.
But they need that kind of length from him. And so it's got to get figured out. And one of the things we talked during the radio show this week on the program, like we gave our list of things we wanted to see this year. On my list was for Noah Cameron to get his hits lower than his innings. Well, today, 5 innings, 9 hits. He's still going the wrong direction on that. 2 walks, 1 strikeout. He doesn't have the kind of strikeout stuff to erase guys that get on base. And so, yeah, it's a really big concern that he is definitely part of the future, right? And you can't really trade him now. You can't trade him now because he's not pitching well.
Yeah. And guys like him are, you talked about you want to develop guys. You don't have to sign Wacha and Lugo. You don't want to sign Michael Lorenzen. I don't mind so much. Obviously, you want to develop guys. You don't have to sign anybody. you want to be able to put your big money in superstars instead of good players. I think, but not having to sign a Michael Lorenzen because you have Stephen Kolek and Noah Cameron is huge. If you don't have them, well, there's $8 million, and I don't care. You want to spend $15 million on a guy who's going to give you 175 above league average innings. I'm actually fine with that. But you don't want to have to sign 4 and 5 starters. You want to have those guys to be able to come up and develop them into 2 and 3s.
Yeah,
and it's a rough spot.
Yeah, and listen, and I'm adamant that you can't just draft and internationally sign your way to a championship. You're not going to fill a 26-man roster that way. But I'm also adamant that you can't do it all through free agency either, right? It's got to be a marriage of both, from the system and going out and acquiring guys.
And when you do that, when you do that, you end up getting some years that are hits. It's like, look at college. It's like the transfer system. Some years are big hits and other years just aren't. When you're going short-term free agents, like there's no continuity there. And so I'm with you.
Yeah. I just, it's frustrating. And I mentioned the Noah Cameron. We'll talk about the trade deadline more. If you're not willing to move guys that you only have control for 1 or 2 years, you're definitely not moving a guy that you have control for 4+. Right. No. So the idea of like, well, they could move Cameron if he's pitching well. They won't move guys that they only control for next year or next year with an option. Right. They're not going to move a guy that they control for 4 years. Yeah. Also today, Bobby Witt Jr. didn't play. Back issue. We've had a knee. We've had a back. Like the plan needs to be.
He's had the back before, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it was earlier as well. And so this is obviously becoming a chronic situation here. Back injuries are not good for baseball players, for guys who swing a bat as hard as they can. No. They got to get this calmed down, whatever it takes. I don't care who plays, where, whatever it takes. He has to sit if he doesn't feel good. You cannot be putting, wear and tear on a guy who's trying to play through an injury when your team sucks. Like, this is a giant they did it right. They sat him. But I'm wondering, has the back been a problem for a while? And this whole time that he's just been gutting it through. And now it's finally getting so bad that they're like, okay, you're going to sit.
That they didn't. They said that's not what it was. What they
Right.
said was he felt it yesterday. Do we? I don't know. I mean, all we can go on is what they tell us. So,
Right.
and Bobby will never say, "Oh yeah, it's been hurt." He could go 0 for 50, and he'd say, "No, it didn't hurt. It was fine." But he looked bad. The first two games coming out of the break, he did not look good. I guess he worked the walk on Friday. I don't know. I mean, there was a long fly ball. It must have been yesterday that he hit, and I'm going, that looked like he had everything in it, and it got to the warning track in center field. That was center field, but still, he did not look great. So I think we know they're not going to put him on the IL. We've learned that, but yeah, I let him sit. I don't care if they lose 19-2 every day. Bobby Witt's got to be healthy in 2027.
Yeah. I mean, that's where that's what's most important is the future, right? And so you cannot be wasting Bobby Witt Jr.
100%.
at this time. All right, we'll take a break. We want to get into how to approach the trade deadline. We'll do it after you hear from our friends at Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Your parking lot says a lot about your business. Cracks, potholes, faded striping, and damaged concrete can create safety concerns and leave the wrong impression with customers. Gann Asphalt and Concrete helps Kansas City businesses protect their properties with asphalt paving, seal coating, crack filling, parking lot striping, concrete work, and repairs. Their experienced crews deliver quality workmanship and dependable service on every project. Whether you need routine maintenance or a complete parking lot overhaul, Gann is ready to help you. Get started today with a free estimate at GannAsphalt.com. Gann Asphalt and Concrete, one contractor, all things parking lots. Italian Delight was the first restaurant to bring true New York-style pizza to Kansas City almost 50 years ago. They sell whole pies or pizza by the slice, or enjoy their classic strombolis, calzones, and sausage rolls. Sandwich lovers, check out their lineup of hot and cold subs, the combo, the meatball, or the Philly cheesesteak, just to name a few. And don't forget the pasta. Their famous lasagna and classic chicken Alfredo always hit the spot. If you're hungry for lunch, check out their daily lunch specials, starting at under $10. Italian Delight can even cater your next work function or party. Dine in, carry out, or delivery, it's Italian Delight. Located just 3 minutes east of Kansas Speedway at 8145 State Ave in KCK. Check out the menu and order online at ItalianDelightKS.com. Kansas City's own Italian Delight. All right, let's talk about the trade deadline coming up. For what should be the approach? I mean, they have so little right now to put on the block. Yeah. I mean, and if they're not talking about Michael Wacha, what do they think they're going to trade?
Lane Thomas,
I guess.
I mean, I think he's going to bring back something. I think John Schreiber probably has a pretty decent market because every team has 8 relievers, and John Schreiber is a guy who he makes a lot of sense for a lot of teams. So, I mean, I continue to hear that teams would love to have Starling Marte. You're not going to get anything for him, but that's fine. That's fine. You can trade him for nothing. I don't care. I think they like the veteran leadership or whatever. But yeah, if you're not trading beyond pending free agents, I think Thomas is going to bring back more than people expect. I don't think it's going to be a huge haul or anything, but he's a guy. Look, the way he's hitting and the way he's been hitting since he's been playing basically every day. Mm-hmm. This is the guy who brought back legitimate prospects from Cleveland when they acquired him 2 years ago. Different situation, obviously, right now than it was then, so it won't bring back as much. But I think Lane Thomas is a good player, and he can help a lot of teams. You talk about go back to remember when Adolis Garcia got hurt for the Phillies, and there was that big article about how there's no right-handed bats out there. Lane Thomas is that right-handed bat. I'm trying to find that. What I wrote this other day that there's like there's 16 players. This is 16 players in all of baseball who qualify for the batting title as a primary outfielder and are right-handed. There are 16 qualified right-handed outfielders in all of baseball. There's a market for Lane Thomas. But yeah, I'm hopeful that the talk about Michael Wacha is, I'm putting this out in the media, but we're having conversations. And there was one quote. I'm going to see if I can find it because I should have done this before, but it just popped in my head. I think it was Jalen Thompson wrote it in the Star. That something JJ said was actually pretty encouraging about that. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but it made it seem like, hey, look, we don't want to trade Michael Wacha, but we'd trade him for the right offer. My hope is that the right offer isn't way more than any team will ever offer.
Right. I mean,
that's the concern.
I understand you wanting a lot, but he is still a 35-year-old right-hander that doesn't blow
Yes.
people away and has a FIP of 4. Okay, so I in their head they have it. I think they built him up into being even more than what he really is, and so yeah, I mean Lane Thomas, I guess Starling Marte, if somebody wants the last guy on the bench, veteran type of player, John Schreiber. I mean, is that it? Is that really it? Alex Lang? I mean, we when he's going good, we get excited. But when he's giving up bombs, I mean, is there I mean, Isaac Collins could be traded, but again, control. To which I will ask you, David, if they're going to sit here and talk about it would be hard because of what we're going to do in 27, then go buy. Buy at the deadline.
Yeah.
Buy someone with 2 or 3 years of control that is part of the equation for next year then.
100%. If you think you can win, and I think they will. I think they're going to do some offseason shopping in the next 2 weeks, and I think they're going to make a trade that everybody goes, "Why are the Royals buying?" And because nobody stops to think, well, he's under team control through 2029, so that's why they traded Blake Mitchell for this guy or whatever it might end up being. Yeah, it's the options are Matt Strom should have been a great trade chip. Well, he's not even pitchable, let alone tradable. Nobody is trading for him. I mean, you attach him to a deal, you are actually getting less back than you would have before. So he's not going anywhere. Lucas Erceg, I've seen his name pop up. Pirates, and there was one other team. I can't remember who it was now. I saw his name pop up. You're trading him at the lowest value. You can't. I don't think that's a smart trade, unless somebody says, "Hey, look, we know what he's done. We're going to give you 20. We're going to give you closer to 2025 value." I think the Royals should do that. But why would they move him?
Why would anybody give you that though?
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's not going to happen. Daniel Lynch, I think, could be moved. Michael Massey, I think, would make sense. I don't think they're going to do it though, is the thing. Like, there are teams that could use Michael Massey. I just don't think that the Royals are going to move him.
What are they?
So here we are.
Yeah. So what should they target? Like, to me, they need outfielders and they need pitching, right? And should this be one of those, we're only acquiring guys that are major league ready? I mean, my answer to that is no. That should never, ever be your philosophy. Your philosophy should always be to get the best talent you can possibly get, which is generally going to be the younger guys. And if you do that all the time, eventually you'll have a great system. But when you just go for the fringy guys, I mean, listen, right now, where are we at on the Freddie Fermin trade now? I mean, Kolek and Berger are both hurt. Like that deal is not what it was a little bit ago. I mean, it's starting to look like the Padres knew what they had. Both of them are in their upper 20s, and you're like, okay, the Padres just had so much pitching and they signed so many free agents that they just couldn't get these guys up on the hill, but they're really good. And now it's looking like, no, they knew that they were maybe a ticking time bomb. I mean, and that's probably not the case. It's probably just luck, but you're in the get it right business. And when the Matt Strom deal goes south, and now this deal has got a couple of hurt guys that it was just whoa, we hated trading Freddie Fermin. Yeah, all of a sudden the Cole Reagans trade is getting to be further and further in the rearview mirror. I mean,
I still think that's a good trade, especially because it's not like they got hurt and now they're just done forever. I mean, Berger will come back. Also, Fermin's got a 530 OPS for the Padres, so you want to look at it from the other side too. He's not exactly living up to his end of the bargain.
He is overexposed as an everyday catcher.
Oh, for sure. And they've had Luis Campusano's had some injuries and so they've had some issues there. You talk about outfielders. I agree. Target that. I'm gonna give you one of my fun trivia questions. As of this moment, 5:27 p.m. on July 19th, where do you think Royals outfielders rank in baseball in weighted runs created plus out of 30 teams?
Well, Caglione's counting out there with most of his stats. Mm-hmm. Isaac Collins has been okay. Lane Thomas has been okay. 15th?
They are. Oh, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm wrong. I can't do as of right now. Coming into today, I apologize.
Okay.
8th.
Okay. Yeah, I thought this was going to be better than we thought. So that hasn't been the problem. But ideally, Jack Caglione's not one of them. And Kyle Isbell,
right? And Lane Thomas has helped quite a bit. Kyle Isbell can't hit,
and Lane Thomas is not under contract.
Right. My point is, you wonder a little bit, like, have they figured out, or is it a 1-year aberration? They figured out how to build an outfield on the fly, because they had the worst weighted runs created plus by outfielders last season, and now they're 8th best this year, just by that stat. There's other metrics, obviously, but that's a pretty all-encompassing stat. Pretty encompassing. You can't be pretty all-encompassing, but I think that, to me, you target upper level pitching and best best player available, because the reason I say upper level pitching, like, I'm not going to say, if somebody comes to you and says, we're going to give you our best pitcher in high A, don't say no, because they're not in double A. I would rather see guys who can help out, who are the best pitcher available. Like, if the difference between let me put it this way, the difference between a low A pitcher and a triple A pitcher is like half a grade, get the triple A pitcher. I'm okay with that. Partially because the system is starting to look loaded in the lower levels, and not that you don't want to add to that all the time, but there's also an issue of a logjam. Like, there are only so many teams in the minors these days, which it sucks what they've done, but they only have 4 full season teams now, and so you have to be cognizant of that as well. But I think that, obviously, number one is the best player you can acquire. But I also believe that you can figure out the outfield on the fly a little bit, and you need those guys who are ready to pitch, especially because you look at next season. Again, we can talk about this again.
What is the rotation next year?
It's as of this moment, and now I'm not going to include Stephen Kolek. It is Michael Wacha, Seth Lugo, Noah Cameron, and Luinder Avila. There's not a 5th starter on this. Right. They don't even have, it's Randy Dobnak. I think he actually is under team control. They need guys. And so I think you're going to see trades like we saw last year, where it obviously at this moment is not working out. With the Falter has already not worked out, but Kolek worked out for a bit. Berger looked like he worked out for a bit. Both those guys are hurt. I'm worried right now. Flexor strain. If we see Kolek next year, I'll be surprised at this point.
Yeah.
And that's just because you hear flexor strain, then it's Tommy John. But you can't count him. But Berger could be back mid-season next year. But they don't have anybody to start right now other than the 4 guys, and 2 of them I don't believe in.
We had the question back a little ways ago. I'm trying to find it. Here we go, from Terry. A lot of pitching injuries. Any correlation between injuries and Sweeney organizational philosophy? I would say that absolutely yes, because the Rays and Guardians have all kinds of injuries, right? Like, I think the idea is, we're going to give you weapons. Here's how you get them. You want to throw it, throw it. You want to protect your arm, protect your arm. But here are the weapons.
And it might hurt.
Yeah, and it's up to you on whether or not you want to use these things and what it does. So, is there a correlation? Yeah, the Rays have tons of injuries, but they also develop tons of pitching. And that's where the Royals have to be. And that's the problem, is there isn't any pitching. We'll get to the Brian Bridges part of the equation, but yeah, like, there isn't enough pitching knocking on the door. They're going to have to go buy another pitcher and head back in with Luinder Avila, who we keep trying to make the solution to the bullpen. And reality is, he's going to have to start because they don't have anybody else.
Yeah, as of right now, I still say, let's see, August 3rd to Monday. So our August 9th Kaufman Corner, we might be talking differently. Let's find out after the deadline who's in this rotation. Because again, last year, there wasn't a Berger, there wasn't a Kolek. Right now, there isn't either. But we'll see what that looks like in what is that, 3 weeks? 3 weeks from now. But yeah, as of right now, Luinder Avila's got to start. And that's not a spot you want to be. And we want to talk about what we want to look forward to for next season, for the rest of the season. Maybe that is a spot you want to be. That's he's going to have to pitch. So let's find out. I have no problem with him starting every 5th day.
Yeah. Oh no. Now it's you have to. Let's hope he grows into the role.
But yeah, it's great. It's using failure as an opportunity, because this is an opportunity to see what he can do. But yeah, they're in trouble on the pitching staff.
I know I'm going back to the outfield, but as far as in the spirit of what you're doing, is Isaac Collins good enough to win with, playing every day? Is there more ceiling there for him to grow into? Because I bring it up like with control, especially teams like the Pirates and, small market teams would really be interested in an Isaac Collins, right?
Yeah.
Like if they have an outfield hole because he's cheap, right? And they would have control over him. So you theoretically could get a lot back if you would take minor leaguers. So what is Isaac Collins? Because to me, he's David DeJesus-ish in the sense that when you don't have an outfielder, man, if we could get a hold of this guy, it'd be great. And then as soon as you're your guy, you run out there every day, and he made a great diving catch today. I like the player. So I'm not just trying to run him out of town because I don't like him. I'm mentioning him as a trade chip because I do like him, and I think other people might as well. But I do feel like he's kind of that 3.5 outfielder, right? If you've got two studs out there, then he's okay as your third one. He does get on base, but there's almost no pop. I mean, like, how about making him available?
I think it's worth asking. We're talking to teams about. I think that you win with Isaac Collins if he is, like you said, if he's your third best outfielder, if he's your number 8 hitter, maybe 7 because he gets on base. I think you can win with that. But if he's your best outfielder, you're a terrible team. He's not their best outfielder, which is good. They're still a terrible team, even though he's not their best outfielder.
I don't know. I actually think he is, because what you're going to call their best outfielder is actually their first baseman.
Right, but he's playing the outfield. I mean, that's what he is right now. Right now, he's their best. He might be their best outfielder. Isaac Collins might be their best outfielder heading into 2027, which is a problem. But as of right now, Caglianone's an outfielder, so he's their best outfielder. Wherever he should be playing, he's not. So that's what it is. But I agree. And right now, Lane Thomas is better than him too. So he actually is the Royals' third best outfielder. But I see what you're saying. Neither one of those guys is a 2027 Royals outfielder, at least as of right now. I do think they could sign Lane Thomas, but yeah, I'm with you.
I'd be all for signing Lane Thomas again next year after you traded him and play that game all the time. Yes. It usually doesn't happen that way, but I'd be for it if it did. But Lane Thomas is a below average defender, and so is Jack Caglianone. Mm-hmm. So at some point you've got to be able to get some guys that play outfield and hit like big leaguers.
Here this is my back of the napkin plan that I was playing around with the other day. Trade Vinny, move Jack to first, sign Lane Thomas to play right field. and I at that point, you could probably keep Kyle Isbell and hit him 9th and played good defensive center field, all that good stuff. I think that's a path. And you can get something for Vinny too.
I think you could. I think you'll get more for Vinny in the off season after the Hammett bone move, because I think most people are we're going to watch that the power's been robbed from him. And so he's not going to hit for a lot of power this year. So but I do think in the off season, they should absolutely be investigating that, and they should be talking about it with teams. You can start laying the groundwork for what you're going to do in the off season. Sure. I think you'd be selling low right now, but I think come the off season, you'd be selling at a good price. And I think you could get something for him. So I think it's an important part of the equation. Let's get into. I want to talk about the system and where we sit after the draft. We'll do it after you hear from our friends at Italian Delight. Italian Delight was the first restaurant to bring true New York style pizza to Kansas City almost 50 years ago. They sell whole pies or pizza by the slice, or enjoy their classic strombolis, calzones, and sausage rolls. Sandwich lovers, check out their lineup of hot and cold subs, the combo, the meatball, or the Philly cheesesteak, just to name a few. And don't forget the pasta. Their famous lasagna and classic chicken Alfredo always hit the spot. And if you're hungry for lunch, check out their daily lunch specials, starting at under $10. Italian Delight can even cater your next work function or party. Dine in, carry out, or delivery, it's Italian Delight. Located just 3 minutes east of Kansas Speedway at 8145 State Ave in KCK. Check out the menu and order online at ItalianDelightKS.com. Kansas City's own Italian Delight. If your property needs asphalt or concrete work, Gann Asphalt and Concrete is ready to help you. From parking lots and drive lanes to sidewalks, curbs, patching, seal coating, crack filling, and repairs. Their experienced crews handle projects of all sizes throughout the entire Kansas City metro. Whether you're fixing problem areas or planning a larger paving project, Gann focuses on quality workmanship and dependable service from start to finish. No matter what shape your pavement is in today, they can help improve it. Request a free estimate and learn more at GannAsphalt.com. Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lots. All right, I asked my The Athletics, Keith Law. Sorry, I had Keith Law on this week on the program, and I asked him, "Where's the Royals system right now?" And he said, probably above, a little above halfway." He said, "No, I'm a little bit below." And then he went through the players and went through Churi, and he goes, "No, a little bit above midway." So in the 15, 14 range. Where would you put the Royals system right now after they've added what they added in the draft?
I mean, I don't follow the other systems close enough to give you a real great answer
Right.
there. But
how encouraged are you by what they've added to the equation?
I mean, with the draft, I feel good. Adding Rose, adding Rabe, I think are two like legitimate prospects. I think that some of the other guys like Jack Slidham is going to take a little bit longer to blossom into that. Dominic Bautista, same thing. Those are two high school kids they took in the first 4 rounds. But like these, a lot of what they've added are pitchers who I think can move and help fill in the system where there's some gaps, because there is Chourio, there is Shields. I'm
By the way, 5 no-hit innings with 2 walks from Kendrick Chourio, 10 strikeouts. We should point out,
and Emmanuel Reyes finished the no-hitter for them also. So that was pretty fun. Nice day for Quad Cities, at least.
Yeah.
But you look at the system, they are missing some pieces there. And I think they filled in a lot of those gaps on the pitching side, in the lower levels, which Chourio is really interesting to me because his last 4 starts, he's been 5 starts in Quad Cities. This was his 5th. He struggled in his first one, although he did strike out a lot of guys, but he's 20 innings. I think it's 7 hits in his last 5 outings, 21 strikeouts and 5 walks. Dayton Moore used to say, and I imagine there's a similar philosophy in promotion. 8 starts, right? Was that the one? He's at 8 starts in a level.
That sounds familiar.
8 to 10, yeah. Troy's halfway there.
I know there was a feeling that once you've mastered it as a pitcher, you've mastered it. Mm-hmm. Or do I have that backwards? Was it once you've mastered it as a hitter?
Oh,
you've mastered it, so that it was okay to go ahead and bump them. Yeah, either way. But either way, I mean, I think the idea is, I think we're clearly looking like with this performance today that he's going to taste AA before this year's over, which puts him in the mix for next year. Not at the beginning,
right?
He'll probably blow people away. He'll come to spring training. He'll blow people away. Everybody will be screaming for him to be in the game, just start on opening day. But then, he's going to probably start in AA next year and then get a promotion to AAA if it goes well. And then he's on the radar screen.
Yeah. I think so. And Shields pitched really well too. So, but yeah, again, I think they filled in the gaps quite a bit with this draft on the pitching side. The system's so interesting because everything we can lump this into the Brian Bridges conversation when we can judge him. All of his drafts are in low A and high A, and they're doing quite well. I mean, you look at a guy like Luke Pelzer, who was drafted as new Luke Nowak. When they started talking about Luke Pelzer on social media, and I was like, who is this guy? I looked it up. He was Luke Nowak. He was I don't know what happened with his last name. Not my business, whatever. Coming today, 336 average, 404 on base, 508 slug. 27 steals, doesn't have a ton of power, home run power, but he hits the gaps. Another guy, Derlin Figueroa, who they traded Ryan Yarbrough for him. This is to your point of go get guys. I don't care where they are. He got an 8.8. He's actually up to, I think, 900 after today in Quad Cities. Strikes out too much, but let's get him to AA. A lot of these guys from the Brian Bridges draft are starting to find their way to Quad Cities. Yeah, ultimately it'll be AA, Northwest Arkansas, then AAA. I mean, even you look at down in Columbia in high A, Josh Hammond just had a 5-hit game. He's been going crazy. Sean Gamble is really interesting. I talked to somebody a couple weeks ago now who saw him early in the year and then saw him 2-3 weeks ago. Like different swing, different player. He's been really good. The numbers are terrible because he started off so poorly. But
I'll give the before, you give the after. Since May 21, these are your numbers. You pointed out he was 111, 200, 153 on May 11th, and we were like, that guy is just that was just a horrible pick. There's no saving it. Under 8% walk rate, over 28% strikeout rate. Since what's he been?
404, 401 with a 6% walk rate, 24% strikeout rate. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's a big change, and they've worked quite a bit with his swing. And it's you can find if you can figure out how to search on Twitter. First of all, let me know, and then once you do, go look for an old video from like early April and look for one from early June. The swing, it's not like drastic, but it's so much smoother to me. There's still a little hitch, but he looks like he's kind of figured some things out. And Gamble was always kind of the longer term play. Hammond was the high school guy who had the tools and could hit the ground running. Gamble was the guy who like, hey, look, it might take a few months, it might take a year. He looks like he's figured some things out. So, I mean, that's really encouraging. But then you look at some other players down, like Michael Lombardi has 96 strikeouts in 64 innings in low A. Now he's a college guy. He should be doing that, but he is.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to knock a guy because he's doing what he's supposed to do. And those teams are playing really good baseball right now. And those are Brian Bridges draft picks. I think he gets till the end of next year. And as long as there's the progression continues, everything is great. But yeah, we've got to see them start moving up because we've got to see guys get to Double A. We've talked about it, and Lampkin did, and now he's undisclosed injury on the IL. I still don't know what it is. I keep asking. Nobody gives me an answer. It'd be nice to get one. Obviously, Jack Caglione has graduated. He was a Brian Bridges draft pick too. So
right.
we can't ignore that. I'm trying to remember when was Nivens was the year before. So he's a guy in Double A who I think needs to be in Triple A at some point. But we need to see that the progression. But it's not an overnight thing, and so far so good on that front, I think.
Yeah, no, it's like I like the system, and we've said it. None of this. I don't want to see complex league for Zion Rose, and I don't want to hear about them changing his swing. I want him plugged right into like high A, and I want him hitting right. And if that happens, then they're looking like, okay, he could be up in maybe late 27 or certainly be ready to go for 28. You're starting to see some things get solved.
Get into the AFL, give him a few extra at bats. The one other guy, and I think it's Angel is how you say it, Gomez. He's in on the complex league. He is, or Dominican Summer League. He is. Everybody is raving about him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see it publicly. I've heard it privately. Somebody told me that it would not be surprising if he's a top 15 prospect next year.
Really?
Like in baseball. Insane talent. So he's a guy to keep an eye on. They've done well internationally over the last, Churio, him, there's another name I'm blanking on who's also doing really well, who's kind of getting overshadowed by Gomez. Obviously, I've forgotten his name. So
yeah,
by me as well, but they're doing pretty well there too. I'm encouraged by the shape of things. But I'm with you. Rose needs to play. I'm a little bit less. I don't care as much on the pitchers. Like if you want to baby them a little bit, I'm okay with that. I want to see them pitch. But I want to see Rose is signed. Give him, a week in the complex league because he hasn't played in a few weeks, and then get him to high A and see what he can do, and then put him in the Arizona Fall League, and then invite him to camp next year. Like let's see what he can do. Even if he's one of the first camp cuts and he goes down to the minors on March 12th, I don't care. Get him in there, see how he handles it. And yeah, he's a guy, if things go well, you could see him next year. And then you feel like you're really cooking.
I will say on Lombardi, like if they don't get him moving, I'm starting to feel like it's like they don't really like him. They're just trying to build up some strikeout numbers and throw him into a deal. Which, if it works, fine. If you don't think he's going to be good, but you can turn him into something.
But part of it's the walks too.
Yeah,
like
41 walks in 64 innings is too much.
It is. And he's 22. Like he's not. He needs to. I would love to see them find out, but also it could very well be. We've talked about this before. Why are you promoting guys when they can't throw a strike? And if you're maybe they're saying, look, stop walking guys and we'll promote you. I don't care how many strikeouts you get. So it could very well be what we've been shouting about for a couple of years.
And if he can't stop walking guys, they're going to take away the walk pitch and they're going to make him a reliever, which is fine too. Yeah. You need relievers.
Yeah.
He'd be a power reliever at that point. something they
and he'll move
desperately
fast
need.
in all likelihood.
Yeah, and that's one that you could move up really fast. When do you judge the Brian Bridges? What he is. When do we get enough data to say, he is the guy, he's not the guy, he's a stud, he's okay? How long?
I think we'll know next year. Maybe around this time, definitely by the end of the season, because that gives him next year will be his 4th draft, but it gives him 3 drafts with, you should be getting guys to the big leagues. I mean, he already has technically with Caglione, but you should be getting guys, plural, to the big leagues within 3 years. And they don't have to be stars. It's okay to draft. It's okay to draft and develop guys who are role players. Like, they don't have a lot of that either. But they need to be getting guys to the big leagues next year who are not Jack Caglione, obviously, because that's already been done. And if he can do that and you start to get guys in AA and AAA, I feel really good about it. If these guys start to stall out in high A and don't get to the big leagues, then there's a problem.
Yeah. But right now, I think we're all on board, right? That it's looking pretty good.
Should be. Yeah. And the more I talk to people about this draft too, the more I still would have gone a different direction, because I don't like getting queued at 6, but it's hard to argue with who they did pick. And so it gets to a point that you start to split hairs.
Yeah, it does. And the fact that they've got them all, they had them with Zion signed and we're moving along. There's no funny business or anything going on. I'd say, I like what I see out of Brian Bridges. And I think that the key is to now supplement what he's doing by trading big league talent for minor league talent. And, you want to get to the point to where you can win and still trade off big league talent for minor league talent. That's what the Brewers do, and keep stocking that system. And so you've got to supplement what Bridges is doing by bringing in more talent. But I think right now it looks good. I know it's hard to watch this team. It's hard to watch today, 19-2. But when you do see, like Churio is being thought of as exceptional, right? Not just he could be a big leaguer. They're talking about top of the rotation type guy.
Right. Not he's a 4 in 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. And so, when you hear and Hammond, there's big upside to Hammond. People feel like, we're hearing good things about a lot of talent. And so I think it's going really well. Now we just got to see him get to that, get to the big leagues, add that last step and start seeing him come up to the big leagues. And when the whole system is his guys, it's filled all the way up, then I think we're going to be feeling really good about where this team is. But there is still a lot to go. These guys got to perform at AA and AAA and then perform at the big leagues. It's not just about looking good at A-ball, right? It's right. It's more than that.
I think that the AA hump is the big one, and then getting to the big leagues. Because I think once you get AA, you're going to get to AAA in all likelihood for the most part. But yeah, they've got the first hump is like now for a lot of these guys, and then we're sometime next year probably for the second one.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, if you want to support the Kaufman Corner podcast, we'd love it. Support our great sponsors, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. They are Kansas City's best when it comes to handling any kind of parking lot problems. Gann Asphalt and Concrete. You can find them online at GannAsphalt.com. For more than 30 years, they've been solving parking lot problems, whether it's repaving, crack filling, seal coating, full asphalt installation. Their experienced crews handle it all right here in Kansas City. One contractor, all things paving. Find them online at GannAsphalt.com. And our friends at Italian Delight, I'm going to tell you something. Renee and his sister went on vacation, so Italian Delight will be closed for the next week and a half. So you're going to have to live without. But they headed out on a family vacation, so they are closed for the next week. But when they open, they are the place, the first to bring true New York-style pizza to Kansas City almost 50 years ago. They're located right there on State Avenue, just 3 minutes east of Kansas Speedway, 8145 State Avenue. You can find them online at ItalianDelightKS.com. A week from Wednesday, they're back open after their family vacation. For David Lesky, I'm Soren Petro saying thank you very much for joining us here on the Kaufman Corner podcast.